Putting
We're
intro.
live.
Hello. The fun of being live.
Yes.
Hello. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the You Are Dead podcast, brought to you by FEARZINE. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to an incredible podcast that's going to be full of horror gaming, past, present, and future, and 4 people talking at you about it. Hope you enjoy it and join us for the ride. It's the first of many, and we'll be streaming these live on Patreon for our members there. So always feel free to come and join us for podcasts in the future. We'd love to have you, and then you can watch it for free a bit later on. First one. Hopefully this goes well, and we can do many more.
Time to break the bottle on the
Fingers
ship, set her sail.
There you go. So let me introduce you to everybody. First of all, hi, I'm Andrew. I'll be your host for You Are Dead, and joining me is the editor-in-chief, owner, and general, all-encompassing everything of FEARZINE. It's Dan. How you doing, Dan?
What's up, everybody? Hello.
Our evil mastermind.
That's my classic
Yeah.
opener with a podcast. I always used to do that where I go, "What's up?" Like,
What's up, YouTube?
What's up?
We all need one of these. Are we gonna have to come up with
No.
one now?
Me.
Next week.
No. Okay. And also joining us is another FEARZINE staple, the executive editor over at FEARZINE. It is Alex. How's it going?
Hello. It's another gorgeous day. It's hot, but I'm excited to lay down some really cool horror games for everybody. And it's been a really special time. Me and Dan got to meet up
Ready to
last
talk
week
horror.
in person and hang out and shake hands and spend time together. It
First time
was awesome.
ever.
So I'm energized for this. This is super exciting for me.
Nice.
We almost did
Amazing.
this podcast together. But we had to
Almost.
cancel.
Almost. Wasn't meant to be, but that's it. It's what it is.
That's okay.
And it is a very
Family
hot
comes
day
first.
today. And somebody else who knows how hot it is, because we're living through it, even though it's 7 p.m., it's still boiling hot. And that is Mike, aka EX Gaiden, who's a contributor at FEARZINE and also a game dev himself. How's it going, Mike?
Hot, as you've mentioned, but yeah, very well, thank you. And yeah, I'm sorry guys, I couldn't make it. I had an emergency last week. I think some of you guys know.
It's all good.
No worries.
But it was my gift to you guys to have a little bit more time together. Since it's your first meetup. So
Yeah, right.
We
got more game time in.
I think we learned. No, we had dinner or something shortly after that.
Yeah.
It was super good.
Nice. So it all worked out fine. And now here we are, able to record together. And that's all that matters. And everyone's well. So that's also all that matters. But excellent. Thank you so much. It's good to have you all here. And I'm really excited to get chatting about some horror games. That's why we're all here. But before we do that, I do want to just go through. So this is, the podcast is called You Are Dead. And somebody is going to die at the end of this podcast, unfortunately. Maybe more than one of you, probably more than one of you. Because it wouldn't be a horror gaming podcast if nobody died.
Someone's going to walk through the red door.
So what I've decided to do is we're all going to have some kind of horror gaming character archetypes that we're going to portray throughout this episode. I mean, you don't have to act, it's fine. But towards the end, it'll all become clear as to why we have these. So I've asked you all to give me a couple of traits out of a selection of a few. So I'll give an example. There are 8 traits that you could choose from. The ones I chose for myself were creative and kind. Which I like to think of myself as. There are also ones like relentless, flawed, and evil. Nobody has chosen evil yet. I guess we'll see in the future if anybody does. Seems like I want to choose.
Somebody will want to be the Wesker of our jolly lot.
Yeah, exactly. So creative and kind, that kind of mashes together. And in my little, what I call it, matrix of traits, it comes back with an archetype. And my archetype is the medic. Little explanation for that. You use your imagination to heal, whether it's mixing custom herbal remedies or keeping team morale alive with a joke. You are the essential glue holding the survivors together.
Nice.
I also can't die. And examples
Plot
of
armor.
those, yeah, examples of the archetype, people like Dr. David King from Outbreak and Rebecca Chambers from Resident Evil. So, you know, I'm in good company there. I also asked Dan, who can die, but will definitely resurrect each episode, what his traits will be. And you chose strong and kind, Dan. Does that feel right for you?
I believe so.
Yeah, yeah, I think it tracks. And that comes back with the archetype of the gentle giant,
Which
which
now
also I
Alice can
think is
attest to.
Yeah, he's big. And he's
Okay.
nice.
good.
I'm a nice big dude.
A nice big dude. Okay. And that comes out as an immense physical or mental fortitude, but zero ego. You use your strength strictly to support the group, carry the heavy loot, and act as the team's emotional safe harbor.
I
And
mean, it
you
sounds
would
like
be
you're
in the
reading
company of.
my fortune cookie right there.
Maybe I am. But that you'd be in the company of John Batic from Second Sight or Sheva Alomar from Resident Evil 5, who would also fit that.
I hope we see more
Muscle
Sheva at some
mommy
point.
Sheva.
Yeah. So moving on, Alex, I asked you to do this as well, and you came back with creative and flawed. Which is it's fair. I think everybody's flawed in their own way, right? But you're
I'm
upfront with it.
particularly flawed here of late, but you know, I'm working through it.
That comes back with your archetype, which is the volatile genius. And that is a brilliant, imaginative, and wildly unpredictable person. Your best puzzle-solving ideas are deeply tied to your own personal instability, making your strategies highly dangerous to execute.
That's handy. I suck at puzzles though when it comes to these things. Half the time I throw up my hands and just look it up.
But you would be in the company of people like Dr. Kurian from House of the Dead or Dr. Catherine Chun from Soma. So those are the people who are also share those traits. It's a very good game. Excellent game. And finally, we come to Mike. Mike, you also have creative. Three of us have creative. I think we wouldn't really be in this business if we
I was going to say, yeah, it's a good job, really, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of a given.
Very true. Yeah. But you've paired creative with relentless, which is interesting, and that brings you out as the tragic obsessive, which is an interesting one. For sure. That means that you're driven by a non-stop stream of ideas and an absolute refusal to close the notebook. You'll stay up for 3 straight game days trying to map out a single piece of hidden lore. Does that sound about right for you?
Is this a game character, or have you just been reading my therapist's notes?
I mean, it's a gaming archetype, a horror gaming archetype. Okay. But I mean, if it happens to fit who you are, then
yeah, no, it sounds exactly right, actually. Yeah.
There you go.
Constant stream of ideas. Yeah.
Yeah. And the people that kind of also share that archetype are Edward Carnby from Alone in the Dark and Ariane from Signalis. So some good company there too.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. So we'll come back to that. It'll become more apparent why I've done this later. Maybe it'll all just fall apart. We'll see. It's the first episode.
There's a method to the madness.
Exactly, yeah. So let's move on. And that was kind of our opening chapter, as it were, our title screen, kind of introducing the show and all of us and our archetypes. And we're moving on to chapter 2, which I like to call Fresh Blood. And I do this just because I can. You know, I like the book or the film analogy. But there you go. And Fresh Blood is just a way for us to chat about essentially new games, but also games that maybe are new to us that we've played recently that we want to chat about and have a bit of a natter about. I'm trying to think of non-English words that I won't confuse Americans, but a chinwag.
Yeah, I think yap's universal.
Yeah, we'll have a good old yap about some games. So yeah,
I mean, I steal from British isms all the times. I would say waffle.
Waffle, yeah. There'll be a lot of waffling, I'm sure, but I'll try and bring us around to as little waffling as possible. But we're going to start with Mike today, who's going to chat to us about a demo that he's played recently. So what was that? What was that demo, Mike?
Yeah, so it was the demo for the Pulse Breaker game that's coming out. Actually, I played the preview build earlier because I was writing. I've actually got an article that you'll be able to read in the magazine coming out this issue which was initially a preview sort of piece, but the developer actually released a demo. So I just updated it and started playing the demo. Yeah, as someone who kind of leans more into survival horror than just horror in general, I was really impressed. I think it really, a lot of games are trying to, I think we already touched like off air and in previous times touched on other games like Ground Zero. There's another one actually, Hollow Body, and a few others that are kind of like really trying to tap into like that specific era of very highly classical survival horror, and it very much fits into that. But what he's trying to do, the developer, is and I will get his name later on. It eludes me right now, but so I apologize for that.
Anthony.
Anthony, that's correct. Yeah. He's not trying to shy away from difficulty, but he wants you to master the game. So he wants you to give you sort of tools and options. And I just had lots of fun with that because it's unforgiving, but it's like, yeah, tough shit. And there are mechanics for the game for you to deal with that difficulty. And you'll have to master them. And once you do, I think you're gonna feel rewarded. And then all the other bits and bobs that go with survival horror that you love will sort of be highlighted from the rest of it. There's like critical shots sort of as norm, but there's also like perfect shots, which you'll have to play the demo for yourselves, and you'll know exactly what I mean when I say it's unforgiving. So.
I mean, if you could describe the game maybe in a couple of sentences, like the premise of it, what exactly we're looking at in terms of Pulse Breaker?
So the story is quite obscure at the moment. You start with a character that's in a subway, and he's kind of in the middle of an outbreak. So you're in the subway. I believe that there are going to be more locations. I think there's another location teased on social media recently, but the demo specifically in the preview build is in a subway station. It's kind of overrun, very high, quite a lot of enemies actually. We're not dealing with one sort of lone wandering zombie. This tends to be sort of 3, 4, 5 zombies, and very narrow corridors as well. I'm trying to not repeat myself too much from what you might read in the magazine, but
well, sure.
Good.
Yeah. You asked for a short sentence, and I've gone straight in. But yeah, we don't know. There's a mysterious sort of link between how this virus and this outbreak has occurred,
Cool.
and you meet very, very early on who's very unusual behaving, and she disappears very quickly, and that's kind of like what you're left with, really. And it's very a lot. There's notes and logs that you need to find to sort of piece it together. But yeah, so far I don't know what the story actually is.
You're dropped in medias res,
literally
right in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you enjoying the gameplay so far from what you've played?
Yeah, so like I say, I think if you're used to classic survival horror, kind of like the tank controls, fixed cameras, all that kind of thing. I should have probably mentioned that. When I say classic survival horror, that's pretty much what I mean.
Very
I'm talking
closely
about all the
mirrors
hallmarks
like
of,
Resident Evil 2.
It's a Resident Evil like RE2,
yes,
RE1.
Yeah, and exactly. And as you put it, Resident Evil 2 is probably its closest cousin as well. I would say it definitely takes a lot from that.
Cool.
As far as it looks, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. He's really tapped into this aesthetic, and I know a lot of people are trying it, but they're also it's pre-rendered backgrounds, but it doesn't look forced. It looks like that he's trying to preserve every aspect as if this was on the PlayStation, you wouldn't it would fit right in with all the others. But yeah, just to answer your question, gameplay wise, someone who enjoys Souls games and sort of challenging mechanics, I did enjoy it. Yeah, I haven't jumped back in this week, but last week I was playing it for a little bit, and yeah, just sort of getting to grips with the perfect shots, because I still haven't mastered it, which is frustrating for me. So yeah.
Very Sounds cool. Good. And so
in a good way.
Yeah.
You can get it on Steam right now. Yeah, you can get it on Steam. I'm not sure there isn't this. This is coming soon on Steam. I think the developer has mentioned like 2027, but again, with indie development, it can be extended. So, but yeah, go on Steam and find that it's on Steam.
Yeah, the demo is available to play now.
Yeah, exactly.
Public still.
Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds good. And anything we mentioned, of course, go find it on Steam or any of the other store pages that you happen to kind of frequent, wishlist or buy if it's available. If it interests you, especially if it's an indie horror game, we always want to support indie horror as much as we can, and wishlisting really helps. So please do go ahead and wishlist any games that interest you that you hear about here.
Also,
and let them know
leaving
that we sent you.
reviews is huge. Like that's
Mm.
if you play a game and you like it, especially leaving a player review is very, very big for these developers.
Yeah, anything we can do to help, and want to make sure that we keep all these live, just so we can talk more about amazing horror games. We're going to
Precisely.
switch up slightly and move away from indie completely to something rather big, probably the biggest horror game to have been released this year, if not the last
Yeah.
few years, and that is Resident Evil Requiem. And Alex, I think you were wanting to chat about that.
Yes. So if you have been following the like modern version of Resident Evil, this is kind of a culmination of several different storylines, especially some environmental stuff. This is primarily a story that takes place in two parts. It's very much like a cinematic horror game. Like there's definitely pieces where, especially if you're on the lower difficulty settings, like Resident Evil Requiem is very breezy. The mechanics are really cool once you get into like Leon's gameplay, which has not only parries, but also this like axe that's a constant like companion. The combat's very fluid, it's very quick. You can pick up random objects like chainsaws and stuff. You can throw spears. Like there's a lot of ways to like dynamically influence the combat within Leon's toolkit, basically. Meanwhile, Grace plays more like the Resident Evil 7 protagonist, where she doesn't want to be there. She at least has some gun training because she's an FBI agent, but she's very inexperienced and arguably probably not the best person to send out into this scenario. But most of the story revolves around her. Some of the bigger elements revolve around Leon. We go back to Raccoon City, which is very cool. The only like gripes I have with it is a lot of the like structure to the Raccoon City piece is just a lot of broken concrete as far as the eye can see. And so as an environment, it's not terribly interesting, but the scenarios that they give you, the different combat encounters, the enemy placement is all just top notch. And like, this is a game I'm excited to sit down and replay a couple more times through to see like all the different little details. I've really enjoyed like pouring through all the lore. It's beautiful for one. It has the touch thing that they do on PS5, like an Astrobot, where the rain's coming down and you can feel a little pitter patter.
You're playing on the Switch, right?
No, I'm playing on PS5.
Oh,
I'm gonna do a replay, I think, on Switch. The only reason I haven't bought it yet is because I'm like, I don't want to spend another $70 to $80. I think it's too expensive for one. Even as somebody who loves Capcom and wants to support Capcom, I do think this game is overpriced. It should have been a standard 60. I don't know why they made it 70. It's whatever people will pay for it. This is a game that, like, if you're like on the fence about, wait, because all of the Resident Evil games go on sale. You can get most of them throughout the year for like $10, $20, and the entire like modern version of this franchise, all of them are good for different reasons. So like if you're the type of person who has like a nice TV, or you've got a PS5 or a decent computer or like an Xbox Series X or something, now most of these are available on Switch too, that I haven't like experimented with, but I will be checking out at some point this year. I mean, Resident Evil is just in a really, really cool place, and we are getting more Resident Evil because they announced the Code Veronica remake, which we'll talk about later in the show. So it's a phenomenal time to be into Resident Evil.
Really is. Following 6 as well, I think they really picked up after the awfulness that was 6. I know some people like it, and I get that it can
I
be
want to
fun,
revisit it now because, like, it's still kind of canon. It's hard to say.
I revisited 6 after I saw the first gameplay trailer of Leon, and I'm like, that looks weirdly familiar. So I booted up 6, and I'm like, oh my god, it's the same. Like,
it's the only thing that you don't get in Requiem is you don't get the like dive where you're like prone a lot.
Little boot scooch on the ground.
No, you can't do the little booty scooch, and you don't get the dodge either.
I think
which
that makes for
I thought was cool in 3.
One of the things I like about 6, even though it's stupid, especially in comparison, it's one of those things that you can't not laugh at and reminisce about, like playing it with a friend and be like, "Yo, remember like rolling around on the ground and scooching and like pew, pew."
Dude,
like,
mechanically that game is kind of insane. Like it's very expressive. It's just that game gets long in the tooth. Some of the level design sucks. Like 6 is such a mixed bag, but I also still think it's interesting. There's not a Resident Evil game that's come out in the mainstream that hasn't at baseline been interesting. They're all worth playing.
I actually tweeted out like before Requiem came out that I noticed from some things that it felt like in 9 there was almost like a soft reboot of some scenarios from 6.
Mhm.
You know, like do you remember in 6 where you're in the church and there's that big fat, I forget the name, with the
things
blob
that
there,
like
and
explode and you gotta fight. Yeah, I know
yeah,
what you're talking about.
exactly.
I think so.
Yeah,
It's been years since I've played it though.
Yeah, you
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much
and then there's the
fight
part in
one of
Requiem with
those.
that too. It's kind of the same thing.
In
You're
the
in a
ch-
church. You have to fight the big thing that
Yeah.
explodes and like it's all goofy.
It's
Sure.
like
Sure.
wait, yeah, it felt
Yeah,
very
yeah,
similar.
yeah.
And also, if you remember, when you in Chris's campaign, you're in China, right, or Hong Kong, and you know you're in the street and you've got civilians running. They basically did that again, didn't it? So
Yep,
it's very
at the
much
very beginning, and it's
Yeah.
really, really good the way they set up that entire just like outbreak.
So
It's cool.
yeah, so it definitely borrows from, because I think 6, just the overall implementation was what, you know, the overall package, right? But it had some good ideas, and I think they kind of picked apart some of those better ones. Yeah.
Requiem's also really silly. Like the main villain is a goof, and you like fight him on a motorcycle and shit. Like it's very much the like action sort of schlockiness dialed up to 11. So if you like that aspect of Resident Evil, Requiem is just a hoot and holler.
Resident
Like
Evil's
it's
never
really
not
funny.
had its schlock. Like you can't say,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's never happened in a Resident." Every game has the schlock. Like you can't say it.
Yeah.
I would also say though, even if you don't like that, it seems to be toying with this idea of like trying to give everybody something. So like the greatest sections pretty much go back to the more classical. I mean, depends how you played it as well. I played it all in third person, so
it's like it's a little. It's very like there's a ton of variety in the types of scenarios, and so it can get a little just like unfocused at times. Like it does a lot of really cool things Requiem does, but I wouldn't say like it's a cohesive package. It's fine. Like everything is good, but it doesn't have the focus that like I really enjoyed of Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7, even Resident Evil Village, even though that game had some variety. And like I really am excited about what they do next, and I want them to experiment a little bit more. Like the way Village had those other different lords, I wish you could tackle those in any order. That would be really neat to incorporate into a Resident Evil game where you're like actually going into different zones and exploring at your own pace. There's a obviously the story is something that they need somebody to just like from a top level be like, all right, what the fuck are we doing here? Because nobody knows. But man, it's like mechanically, visually, fidelity wise, performance, all of that rules on most consoles for pretty much the entire Resident Evil franchise.
Yeah. I can't wait for you to. Sorry, I'm trying not to derail this too much, but I actually noticed that you had Resident Evil Veronica as your third game. Otherwise, I would have picked it because I'm equally as sort of like hyped for that game. So, and like you say, we'll maybe touch on it later in terms of what they could actually do.
I'm excited because I've only played Veronica for like an hour or two, and it's on my list of things to play before the remake.
It's one of my all-time favorite games. Like
really, okay,
yeah.
What system do you play it on, or what system do you like? What's the best version of Veronica?
Code Veronica X on PlayStation 2 for sure.
That's the one.
That's the best version, but I will always play the Dreamcast version because that's the roots, and I love the Dreamcast. So
that's the nostalgia route, and I support that. Yeah. I get it.
You don't get the health bar on the VMU on the PSC version, so you're missing out.
That's really neat, and I also tried it on Dreamcast. I think
we need more gimmicks like that in gaming in general. By the way, I think
I'm trying so hard to not chime in because again, I'm also very vocal about how much I like Code Veronica, and
maybe I should just play both versions.
Like you were trying not to derail the conversation too much.
Yeah.
We'll come back to Veronica.
We'll come back to Veronica. Hold that thought.
Why don't we have a Veronica podcast? Like we'll set it up.
I mean, maybe we were just talking about maybe like doing a game focused chat.
I did it on my other podcast, my developer podcast that I got into it with. I think it was Tainted Pax, Michael Casio. We went on a rabbit hole about Code Veronica, I think, for like 20 minutes.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably do like a whole thing about Resident Evil at some point. Like Resident Evil is the thing that got me into gaming, never mind horror gaming. So there's a lot to talk about with that whole series.
That could be a
30th
spin-off
anniversary, right?
episode, maybe.
Yeah, 30th anniversary, because I think the Resident Evil that's like this year, right? 30th anniversary is this year, or is it next
Something
year?
like that.
Pretty sure it's this year.
Yeah.
They
Can't
had a
wait.
whole thing on the PlayStation Store where you could get avatars and stuff this year, so it'll
Oh,
Oh yeah, it must
cool.
be this
yeah,
year then. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. So go out and play some Resident Evil, basically. You've got 30 years worth
Mhm.
to play. Play something. Well, let's move on to Dan's choice. So Dan, what have you been playing recently?
So recently is going to be a very loose term right now. I've been very busy the last couple of weeks, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. But one of the things I've played most recently, it's within the horror space, and um, is a game called Psycho Dead. This is something that
Hmm.
popped up on our radar a few months ago when we were looking for games to talk about, whether it's the magazine, website, or etc. Anywhere.
Oh yeah.
The trailer for Psycho Dead was one of those ones where it's like, this almost looks too good to be true. Kind of like how we
Mm-hmm.
feel with Ill, like very much like Ill doesn't feel real still, you know?
Mm-mm.
Mhm,
But Psycho Dead
mhm.
put out a demo a few weeks ago, and this was like Alex and I were sitting down looking at content and planning. And I was like, oh, there's a demo for this. Let me try it out and see if it's something we want to look at. And I thought the demo was surprisingly good. And that's one of the reasons why I was going to bring it up. And I know the demo has been updated a couple of times since then. The developers have put out posts about the demo getting updates. So it's
Oh,
probably
good.
changed a little bit since I played it, but it felt pretty darn good so far in the bit that I played with it because you play as this like young girl who's some sort of science experiment of some kind, and you've got like telekinetic powers, and your first interactions with some things very much like you can kind of attack them with psychic burst, but you only have so much energy, so you run out really fast, so it's not a great way to attack them. And even now as I
Hmm.
see the trailers playing for it, there's an opening scene in that uh, demo. That scene feels like it's ripped straight out of the anime Elfen Lied or Elfen Lead.
Oh,
Um,
Elfin lead.
yeah, where like there's a
Very
woman with
influential.
psychic power. She's got a helmet on, and like dudes are shooting at her, and she stops all the bullets. And then with like invisible arms, she basically just starts eviscerating the guys and getting ripped
Mhm.
apart. And then
Went on to influence Mewtwo and Elle from Stranger Things.
yeah,
Like, it. Don't watch the show, I think, but go watch the like gory scenes from Elfin Lead.
I
They're really
love that
neat.
show
Yeah.
personally. It's got a
There's
lot of weird shit in it, but I love that
Oh
show.
yeah.
But
so
yeah,
there's a retro survival horror game called Galarians as well.
yeah,
Which I
yeah,
mean,
I was
Galarian.
literally going to
yeah,
mention
and
that.
That
I was
also has
it pretty much
the psychic powers in
it
it
borrows a
too.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, probably not. It doesn't have
Mhm.
those mechanics, but yeah,
Yeah.
it
So
belongs to that sort of area. Yeah.
the developers, Moon
Cool.
Catalyst, I'll give them some credit. Like the work they're doing, you can see in the trailer here that it looks almost like Resident Evil Requiem. Honestly, like looking at it, like is that Requiem? Like it's hard to tell.
Wow.
You know, so the it looks really good. The violence is there if you're into horror games for the violence. I had to learn really quickly in the demo that like you're not meant to be powerful in the beginning. Like I was
Hmm.
getting fucked up by a lot of the monsters. So I was like, oh, okay, this is more of like I got to run away until you finally pick up a gun and then you can start fighting and shooting things. Um, but it very quickly went from like I don't know about this game to like okay, this is something to pay attention to. And the demo's out there. You can go and try it out and see what I'm talking about. It definitely needs some work. I think there was some of the dialogue wasn't quite refined yet, or the English translation wasn't quite right, but it's not bad. There's some really cool stuff happening in that game, and I think this is going to be one to watch out for.
Amazing. Sounds good. And that
Mhm.
one's on Steam at the moment. Is there a release date for it yet?
Let's see. There is a
The
demo.
demo
It's
just got an
currently
update like a week ago,
yeah.
so it's been updated recently.
The Steam page says it's a planned release date of Q4 2026. So we'll see if they're able to stick with that.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. That does sounds really good. Again, loads of demos to play. We're talking about a couple of demos today.
Mhm.
I think that's something that's been pretty. I think maybe it's been Next Fest that's done it, but there's been a lot more demos recently than I think I've seen in a long time for games. A lot of people are really leaning hard into putting demos out there, which I think is great. We've not really seen
Yeah.
that since the days of
Demos
PS1
are
demo
such a
discs.
Well,
smart like
shameless
marketing thing.
plug. This is why Alex and I started doing our morning streams where we check out demos because there's so many
There's
of
too many.
them, and it's the best way for us to see them and play them for ourselves and share them within the community too. So that's something like if you guys listen to this podcast and if you want, you can find us streaming in the mornings. Like we had to take a little bit of a break, but we'll be
Yep.
back to it, and then you can see us checking out some cool demos. We've
Usually
played a lot of
Thursdays
cool
and Fridays.
demos, so
Mhm.
there's a lot.
You'll catch it on twitch.tv/FEARZINE or twitch.tv/ForeverClassicGames. because we're also doing that in the retro space, trying out some demos, checking things out. It's been a lot of fun. Would love for people to like point us to some like hidden gems, because me and Dan, we spend an hour or two here and there looking for like what we're interested in or what we've marked, and then we sit down and carve out that time to play those games. And it's super fun way to wake up with us. We have some coffee. It's fun.
Nice.
Shameless
Like
plug over.
FEARZINE's morning show.
It is, yeah, exactly. It's a FEARZINE
7 a.m.
morning show.
Central US, by the way.
We
So
call,
like time zone wise.
For us, like for the FEARZINE version of it, we're calling it like Wake the Dead.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
I
I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Probably, I don't know, does Kelly Ripper still do morning stuff over there? Are you guys like is it Kelly and something?
They have
Yeah,
morning shows.
Kelly
I don't
and-
watch them,
yeah.
but it's kind of like that.
I don't interact with it, but you're in the right era, like having some news, having some discussions, but it's very much a like, hey, we're waking up together collectively, so like come hang out with us. Talk about some news. We watch some trailers. We check out like, we do all sorts of just overview of the horror genre and then the retro and retro inspired
dipping
space.
into playing some games that I get keys for too, if I get a key for a
Yeah,
game or
if we
like
have access,
early
we'll
access to
try
a
it out.
game kind of
Mhm.
thing.
It's not
Sounds good.
always a demo.
Nice.
It's usually a demo.
Usually,
I think there was some stats that got posted out as well of like how many more sales devs get from demos. And yeah, I think it might have been Steam actually. It might have been Steam that actually pushed that forward. So yeah, so as a developer myself, I'm not plugging anything just yet. I haven't got a demo ready, but yeah,
But
that's
you should have a
interesting to
demo.
note that. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's important. That's what I'm working towards for
Yes.
sure, because it's like that's the first port of call. And also, I think a lot of people are releasing demos as kind of like more of a vertical slice. So some games still will need
marketing
funding, they need backing, etc. And you can just release a demo that's like, okay, this is what we've got so far. We need some help to make
The
more.
positives are very, very high for releasing a demo, because not only do you get that like marketing, like you can just put it in front of somebody immediately and safely through the like Steam platform, and so you can pitch it to people. If somebody happens to play your demo and makes a YouTube video or something about it, free marketing. Like there's very few reasons not to do a demo.
It's more of for me as well. It's more of a from my perspective is like more of a goodwill early access, because nothing against early access at all, but I think a lot of bad actors now have got onto early access and just, okay, we're going to make some money from early access and just sort of rug pull or whatever. And I think demos now represent, okay, well, you can do that for free. It's an early access for free. And if you want to support us, you don't need to buy an early access to do that. You can actually just support us via Patreon or Kickstarter or whatever it is they're using. Indiegogo. So
it's basically what we're doing with our Patreon for the
And not to get us stride away from like the rest of the conversation, but I want to put two thoughts out there for demos in particular, and then maybe we should come back to this as a general topic in a show at some point. Demos, I think, more than anything, need to be like, if you're going to have a demo publicly, leave it available publicly. If you have to update it, do it. Don't take that away. Like, leave it there. The worst thing is when we're doing the magazine and we have a little section like, hey, you can play a demo of this, and then people go in there and it's gone. That sucks. I've never appreciated developers just like unlisting demos.
Don't make sense to me.
Time demos I dislike, especially during like a Next Fest. Just plan to have it up there, and then plan to have some sort of feedback, either a form within the game or like a way for people to get in touch with you, because you need to have that that lane for feedback to come in. So those are the two like big things for me when it comes to demo consideration, is make sure you leave it up for a very long time, if not permanently, and then make sure that you have some sort of way for people to get in touch with you for feedback, because you want to use that demo information to like tighten up some things, or like say you have an accessibility consideration and a lot of people are asking for audio balance. Like that's the sort of shit you'll get as people are actually playing the thing and then talking with you about it.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. And yeah, we do see games that have demos that are due to go to Kickstarter and then get picked up by publishers because the demos were so good and so popular. Like Holston, for example, was meant to go to Kickstarter and then got picked up by a publisher. So it's a possibility that you might get picked up by somebody and not have to self-fund after all. So another good reason to do a demo. But let's move on. We've talked about some games that are currently out or that we've played demos of, and we're going to move on to games that are now definitely in the future. A couple of games we talked about were in the future, but we have a demo right now, so we've got to play out, which is great. But this is so Chapter 3, which is the new Nightmare. And as the title says, yeah, it's new games, things that haven't released yet. Although the first one technically has, and the first game we're going to talk about, which is Alex's game, is No Rest for the Wicked, which has been out in early access, but has just come out into 1.0. Is that right?
It's coming very, very soon. The 1.0 release date, I'm not sure if that's been solidified yet. They had it slated for October for the longest time, but this game is called No Rest for the Wicked. It's made by Moon Studios, who you might recognize as the celebrated developers of Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Whisper of the Woods. Will of the Wisps. Yes. That game I'm really partial to, especially like the second one, because there is a developer who worked on another Metroid 2 remake, which is a phenomenal fan game that remakes like Metroid 2 before Samus Returns was announced. And so, like, one of the developers actually went on from doing that project. I think his name's Milton, if I remember this right. Went on to actually be like a level designer at Moon Studios. And so I think this is, not only did he work on that second Ori game in part, but I believe he's also still on this project. And it's just really cool to see like a Metroidvania-centered development group tackle the action RPG. And what's really interesting about this game is its art direction. It's very unique. It has this like grim fairy tale sort of animation style. There's a lot of movement, even to just like the clothing and the hair. Like it looks so different. And like they've been doing early access for the past year or two. It's got a co-op mode now. There's been a lot of really cool things. I've held off the entire time because I'm like, no. I know I'm gonna love this. I just want to play it in its perfect, beautiful form. And so I'm waiting for 1.0, but this could be an obsession for me. Like it's got all the fantasy elements.
That's
so
not
cool.
coming to Xbox along with that because their Moon Studios mad at Xbox.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
But I think there's like a painterly look. It's almost like a different interpretation of the animation style we see for things like Arcane. It's stunning, and I cannot wait to see what these developers do with the final product. I really want to get this physical. I'm so enamored with what they're doing. It's so cool.
Nice.
I've had my eyes on this game for a while too.
Yeah. So Steam at the moment is coming to PS5, but not Xbox, as we've just mentioned.
I think they have the early access build on Xbox, but the 1.0 launch isn't hitting Xbox at the same time.
They're gonna do Steam and PlayStation first. It looks like we might eventually get a Switch 2 port. I mean, they ported their other games to Switch 2. I'm sure they're thinking about it, but it'll depend on the success of the 1.0, what all they got to tweak, and then you go from there.
I know if you're getting this, Alex, I am fully down to play.
Yes, definitely. If this is a 2-player co-op thing, me and you will rock it, and it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. It does look good. I think I do have this on Steam. Like I actually have the early access.
It was on sale recently.
I played very little of it. So I do need to jump in at some point. If it's coming out to 1.0, if there's more than 2-player co-op, then maybe I'll jump in with you at some point. But yeah, physical wise, hopefully before January 2028, maybe it'll get a PS5 physical.
I love physical so much.
I know. It's me too, and it's such a shame.
I'm going out of my way to buy everything physical nowadays. No. Like I'm so doubling down on physical again, as like I want to say almost 10 years ago, I took the dive of like, oh, digital is so easy and it's so convenient and such. And now I'm like, nope, now I wish I had bought everything physical still. And a lot of times I do. I still buy a lot of things physical and digital for the convenience. So I don't know. I'm just full physical as much as possible if I'm able to.
It's great. I do miss it. I kind of wish they did, although it died a death, I wish they did what they had done with Blu-ray, where they did the ultraviolet digital release. You'd buy a Blu-ray, but you'd also get a digital copy. That lasted maybe 3 years, and then they got rid of it. And now all those digital copies are gone. Like everything digital can just be pulled away from you at any point. So
I think that's the way of the future, is like when you buy a physical, you get access to a permanent digital version. I really think that if developers start offering that, that's gonna really do a lot of good for
I
this
go out of my way
industry.
to buy those DVDs or Blu-rays or 4K
That
Blu-rays
yep.
that come with the
Mhm.
digital code
Yeah.
specifically
Mhm.
for that.
Or the ones that
It's
come
not
with a
really a thing
DVD
in the UK
format. Like,
anymore.
that's cool,
Oh,
and
they don't
it
have that
doesn't,
in the
like
UK anymore?
So they did have Ultraviolet for a while. They got
Mhm.
rid of it, and now we don't have any digital. If you buy Blu-ray or 4K, you don't get any digital code at all with it.
Oh.
But I have seen
The
that's a
only
thing in the
thing that
US,
we
but we
could
just
use an
got rid of
adjustment
it.
for is a DRM-free version of the digital download. Because right now, I think most of them go through, like, Movies Anywhere
Yeah.
for most publishers in the States, but
Mhm.
everything like that is temporary. Like, we really need DRM-free versions of this stuff. Thank God for
The only
places
thing
Yeah.
that I
like
trust,
GOG.
like, well, the only place that I trusted it toward the end of it in the UK, they started offering them on Apple, so you could get
Mhm.
a copy on your Apple account. And Apple has been doing this for so long that I kind of trust that they'll be around for a long time and that I won't lose my stuff. Anybody else, I don't think I would trust to have a
Yeah.
digital copy with, really. So
Yeah.
Preservation and, like, digital ownership is really top of mind for, like, me and Dan right now, as,
same
you know,
here.
the big PlayStation news, the culmination of, like, updates and policy changes and things being delisted. Like, it's something that, like, we are advocates for, I would say, full chested.
There's been a few times where I've tried to find a film even, and you can't, and it's just not on any streaming platforms. That's already an example of like films that are just not available via streaming. So if you don't own a physical copy,
Mhm.
you cannot watch that,
Mhm.
and that's anti-preservation, right? So
Yep.
as far as if enough people forget that it exists, it doesn't exist anymore.
If buying something
So
digital isn't ownership, piracy is not morally wrong.
disclaimer, that's that his words are his own, not FEARZINE's.
Not
I think
FEARZINE's.
it's morally okay
Yeah.
to pirate for most studios, but you should support people financially when you can.
Yeah, given
Yeah.
that whole piracy fallout that happened on social media, I almost posted out from my developer thing saying like, guys, if you want to pirate my game, go for it. But if you like it, buy it.
It's a good stance to have. Or like, it's also, I mean, if you ever want to talk marketing, it's a goodwill marketing beat. Just saying.
I mean, obviously, yeah. Anyway, we've tried to move on.
We're moving on. We're
You're very
moving on. I did
long
my
in the
new
tooth.
like yeah. My last thought was that like when you mentioned like there are so many films and stuff that aren't on
Yeah.
on streaming. This
Mhm.
film that always comes to mind for me, and I don't know if any of you have seen this, is Series 7, The Contenders, which is an incredible
No.
movie,
Mm-mm.
and it's like nobody has heard of it. It got middling reviews, but it's if you go and watch it if you can. If you can find it anywhere, it's literally
How?
only on digital at this point. Yeah. Go to eBay, find a copy on eBay. You're like,
Archive.org.
Yeah.
it's
Safe
all that,
piracy
right?
site.
It's from 2001, so at this point, I think they're long beyond getting any kind of money from it. But there you go. Anyway, moving on. Dan, you have a dinosaur game to talk to us about, I believe.
Yes.
Mm.
So, not quite horror, but this goes back to what Alex and I have been doing with playing demos lately. And one of the games that came up on our radar recently was a game called Dino Blade. And it is too good not to talk about. The Alex actually knows more about the history of this game, but I played the demo for this on one of our streams we did a few weeks ago, and it is just backcrap crazy enough to make it one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. It's a Souls-like game with dinosaurs with swords.
Mhm.
And you play as like a little Spinosaur, and you've got a sword, and you run around doing crazy combos and dodge moves, and like all the mechanics feel straight out of a Souls-like game. But you have to fight these gnarly like boss dinosaurs with different weapons and skills, and it is just bonkers. It's bananas, and I hope that this game does phenomenal things. It's set to come out soon, July 23rd, so not too far off now, which is surprising because
Very
that
soon.
demo felt a little rough. It's been out for a little while. So here's hoping that the developer was able to really refine everything. It still felt really good to play, even though it's a
Yeah.
bit rough. It's so bananas. I want to say bonkers and bananas. Banonkers. You need to play
Bonkers.
Dino Blade, especially if you like a
Banonkers.
good hard Souls-like and want to watch dinosaurs beating the shit out of each other.
It's
Who
a
doesn't
free
want that?
demo, and it will make you smile.
Yeah, it will make
Real
you
quick
smile.
for the developer history, this started out as just an animation practice.
Yeah.
There's a student who like made cool animations with a Spinosaur wielding like Ichigo's sword, or like a
Or like
raptor
Cloud
with
Sword.
Cloud Buster sword, or the Berserk sword. and he just made these fun little animations, and enough people reacted to them over the last like 7-8 years and people are like, please just make a game of this, and finally they're like, fine. And then it ended up being a whole project, and now it's soon to be like available, and I can't wait, dude. It's so silly and fun, and this is the type of shit I love video games for.
Yeah, this is what video games are meant for. Just who cares? Let's give me a dinosaur with a sword. Yes, please and
Rule
thank
of
you. You know, if
cool.
that game had come out on the PS2, we'd be eating that shit up like this is the best thing ever.
I really hope it works on Steam Deck, dude. I would rock the hell out of this on Steam Deck.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's
It's
obviously a
hard.
lot of gore here. It'd be cool if there was some like really freaky, crazy shit that happens in it. But either way, it's fun and it's got dinosaurs. Can't
Yeah.
go wrong.
I was I was trying to think of like, well, it's scary if you have a fear of dinosaurs, and
True.
and then it got me wondering like,
Sure.
what is the fear of dinosaurs? And it's a very long word. Dinosaurophobia is like the fake version, but the other one is one that I'm gonna try it. Ornithocelidiophobia. Ornithocelidiophobia. Okay, I think I got it.
Hang on.
Ornithocelidiophobia.
Let me see if I can find
Nice.
that word too.
Well, I mean, there's the other side of that coin too. For me, like playing a Souls-like is the most stressful experience in my life
There it is.
because it's the only genre that actually makes me genuinely afraid to die.
Yeah, no, yeah, for
So
sure.
that's
Afraid to lose.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I can't
Yeah,
tell you how
okay.
much my heart races
Scary.
playing a Souls-like, and I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
fuck, I don't want to die. I don't want to lose my souls. You know, or
Mhm.
my experience. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't sweat like
Yeah.
that when I'm playing Resident Evil or Silent Hill.
Not
That was part
usually.
of my my write up on Bloodborne in FEARZINE
Yeah.
magazine issue 4 was kind of like this. Obviously, the horror, the gothic aesthetic, and all that kind of stuff, and it lent into like eldritch horror, cosmic horror, etc.
Right.
But then with the fear of dying
Yeah.
and losing all your stuff, it was like the most stress. You know,
Dude, Bloodborne is
at
one of
the
the most
time.
pure horror games on the planet. Like, it's
Yeah.
just so terrifying.
And then they make you scared to lose.
To this
On
day,
top of it all.
I'm still, like-
Mechanically, aesthetically, everything about it is fear.
to this day, I'm still very proud of the fact that Bloodborne is one of the few games I've completely 100%ed and have the platinum on,
Yep.
and all the DLC and everything. Of
Yeah,
all the
same.
Souls games I've played, I've never 100%ed or platinumed any of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's very cool. My brain has gone to because we found the name for the fear of dinosaurs. I kind of wanted to figure out, does anybody here have a strange fear, and do we know the name of it if we got it? I'll give you mine. I can start with mine. My strange fear is I'm afraid of the planet Jupiter.
Specific.
Which, and I think it's to do with large objects in space that I'm frightened of, and which is called astromegalophobia.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
there's my weird one.
I can't trump that. I don't think. Mine's
Mine-
more. Yeah. Go on.
Okay, I've got one. So I don't like puppets, statues, things that try to capture the human form but don't necessarily do it properly. There's an uncanny like valley area to that. And apparently the word for that is automatonophobia.
Okay, I'll
Interesting.
attest to that one because that's always like
mean,
one of
like,
my
the
highest creep factors in any game is like puppets and dolls and things where it's like
Yeah.
it looks human-esque but not quite right, and I think that's one of the things that makes like Genma Onimusha stand out because it had that little fucking doll that would hunt you in that game.
I need to play that updated version.
So for me, I don't know how I would describe this other than have you seen a movie where there's just there's like a bunch of people just laughing from a point of view of
Yeah.
and it's like but then it's kind of like all fisheye lensed and shit.
Like the
I always
opening
think
of a Paranoia Agent, that anime.
Is that how like
yeah,
anime does
it's
a
just
really good
very-
job of doing that, of personifying just pure
Yeah.
chaos and craziness? Because it'll do
For-
that thing where it does
yeah.
the fisheye lens on somebody with a big smile
Exactly.
and it gets all warped and
that
their
creeps
eyes
me out.
get twisted. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That freaks me out. The other one I always mention to people is, the dark. Like I always say, isn't it funny that if you just saw somebody stood in your house, you'd say, "What are you in the daytime?" You'd say, "What are you doing? Get out of my house!" But you see, put that same situation, but it's pitch black, and you just see it out. Like you're like, "Oh shit!"
that'll come into our debate later.
This is true.
Yeah,
but there's no name for the kind of people laughing close up in a fisheye.
No.
Like, that's a really
I like looking around
specific.
for it. That's a really specific one.
I think I watched Wayne's not Wayne's World. What am I talking about? Bill and Ted. You remember when like he's going through the old grannies and the Easter bunnies, and they're all like grabbing his like, oh, come here, little boy.
Oh,
like that.
sure. Yep.
Yeah. It comes from that, and then they started laughing and shit. I was like, yeah, I think it's from that. It really creeps me out.
Something
But
to do
anyway,
with uncanny human forms for you too.
Uncanny
Yep,
for sure, yeah.
But I know the
Yeah.
exact scenes you're talking about. The opening to Paranoia Agent is probably the most like you would hate it. It's got a bunch. It's that with an entire like opening.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. It's freaky. And but the thing is, just to end on that note, is that's how my nightmares are. If I have a nightmare, that's like
Nice.
one where you sort of like wake up in a bit of a sweat. It is generally someone's just laughing in a fisheye lens, sort of like bizarre.
God.
Cool.
Point of view. Yeah. Anyway, move on. I want to get traumatized doing this podcast.
If I could
Put
jump
it in your
in,
game.
move on to
Put it in
Andrew,
your
I
game.
want to.
Nobody laugh.
I want to throw Andrew a bone here too, because we foregoed your topics before. Do you want to jump in for one of these before we get too long in the tooth on everything? Do you want to be able to get into Veronica?
Yeah, we can talk. We kind of touched on it a bit ago when we were talking about Requiem, but yeah, let's talk about Veronica. I mean, we've all just kind of touched on, not all of us, but I think 3 of us at least are huge fans of Code Veronica. And the reason that I bought a Sega Dreamcast in the first place was to play Code Veronica because I was such a big Resident Evil fan, and then that kind of set me off on the course to kind of writing about video games and this whole journey that has led me here to talk with you guys. So really, Code Veronica is the reason that I do any of this. So it's like got a huge special part in my life. And it was bizarre because I wasn't anywhere near a TV when they kind of launched the trailer for that, and I had people like actually messaging me saying, "Have you seen what they've just announced?" And I was like, "What?" And when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is like incredible!" I know that it's been like touted for the last couple of years, 2-3 years. They're going to do a remake of Veronica.
We kind of
and they actually have. They're actually doing it.
I've been asking for a remake for so long. I've just been every time there's like people saying, "Oh, they should remake 1," or I'm like, "No, do Veronica."
As soon as they started doing remakes, and people are like, "What are they going to do next?" I've been saying Veronica. They got to do Veronica. Veronica's next. And like they did 1, and then they did 2, and they did 3, and people are like, "What are they going to do next?" I'm like, Veronica. Clearly, it has to be Veronica.
It has to be.
I honestly anticipated them to do Dino Crisis before Veronica, but here we are.
I mean, I've been championing that as well. If you want to take a look at my Twitter, I'm a Capcom. I call myself a Capcom Chad. You know, I love Capcom and their games, and if it's a survival horror Capcom game, I'm in. You know,
I've said it publicly too many times. I think Capcom's one of my favorite developers of all time.
Yeah, they are. They are hands down for me. Like, but you know what? I was kind of the opposite when Veronica was announced because I was a kid and I was like, "Oh, Veronica, that's a girl's name." So like, I was like, that's dumb. I'm not playing that. And then I was like, I don't even have a Dreamcast. And then I got a Dreamcast, and I was like, oh, okay, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I had a Dreamcast at launch, but I was really bummed that I never played Veronica on the Dreamcast. I didn't get to play it until it came out on the PS2. Yeah, I don't know how that works. That I had a Dreamcast and a Resident Evil game came out and I didn't get it for whatever reason.
I had a Dreamcast a little bit later on, but yeah, I broke it.
What's your what makes Veronica special to you? Like, what's the elements that make it really like appealing or one of your favorites?
It's the first fully 3D Resident Evil, right? Which in itself is something that was really special at the time. And I think it's the fact that not only did they go full 3D with it, but they managed to retain how scary and the kind of the atmosphere of it, but also push it into a completely different level. Like, I remember watching the trailers and seeing the screenshots in magazines and on GameSpot.com of like what Code Veronica is going to look like, and it was always the early levels where Claire's kind of walking through the prison section and there's like a swinging light or the lighter, and it's the way the lighting was done in that game was just incredible. And I think what really drew me to it, one, I was always going to be drawn to it because it's a Resident Evil game, but you know, it was another game kind of headlined by a female cast member. We just had Resident Evil 3, kind of headed up by Jill. Loved Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3 up until that point was probably my favorite Resident Evil, which is probably blasphemy for most people who love Resident Evil 2, but Resident Evil 3 was incredible.
But
And
you played
then,
Resident Evil prior to Veronica, basically.
sorry?
You were a fan of Resident Evil before Veronica.
Oh,
Like you were already in
yeah,
it.
I've played since the first game. Like the first game was where I
Yeah,
kind of
same.
came in. I was in at the ground floor basically with Resident
Yeah.
Evil, and then kind of played
Cool.
since then.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it was the atmosphere, and then actually getting to play it the way that they kind of went with the storyline, and it continued to be goofy and stuff, but they also made it really twisted and very dark, and they played with character and with emotions and with motivations, and it was just a really interesting game. And a lot of people
Mhm.
overlook it, I think, because it didn't have a mainline number.
Yeah.
It should have done, but Sony kind of
Yeah.
had exclusive rights to those numbers,
Mm.
unfortunately. So Code Veronica was meant to be Resident Evil 3. And
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it
right.
clearly is the evolution of Resident Evil, though.
Yeah.
I think it's clearly like Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is a step back because
Mhm.
ultimately, there's a lot that can be read up on that. Like we say, it should have been the official Resident Evil 3, but obviously Sony didn't want that to happen.
Mhm.
But Nemesis essentially was just using the same technology as 2 and 1, and 2 mostly. And quite clearly, the more dynamic cameras, the fully 3D realized backgrounds, the just using sort of sniper rifle, dual weapons, all these
Mhm.
things that you mentioned. It was kind of more of some more adult themes as well, as you mentioned as well. Like they went more in the story. So for me, it was like, well, this is how we want Resident Evil to go. And then because Sony pulled it back, it kind of it took a backward step. Even though I love
Mhm.
I love Nemesis as well, 3 Nemesis as well. It's just it's clearly a step back in terms of the sort of linear vision for Resident Evil. So I always treat it as the true. I mean, it's almost a true Resident Evil 4 now, isn't it? Because obviously
Mhm.
3 is 3, but it's almost like that's kind of like the 3.5 or 4.
Yeah.
I think
It's a true fourth game, yeah.
I think
3
that
wasn't meant to be 3 at all. It was just going to
Right.
be Resident Evil Nemesis. So that's
Yes,
an
yeah,
interesting
exactly. A
thing too.
spin-off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to say too that like the first time seeing Veronica, I agree with what Andrew was saying as far as those original images and stills and videos that you saw and like the way it stuck out. It looked like such a big step up from like the previous
Mhm.
entries. And then it was one of the first Resident Evil games that had like the high fidelity cutscenes and cinematics.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
made it just feel
Mhm.
that much bigger and that much grander, especially like that opening scene with Claire running through the building with a
Love
helicopter
that.
blowing out the window behind her. And then they
So
ripped that
good.
off in the movies. And I'm like, that was supposed to be Claire, you know?
Yeah.
That did, yeah, that
And
did
like
suck
that
a
Now, is
first
there
really
time
big
seeing
anything
that where
about Veronica that like you're like really looking forward to seeing in the remake or being reinterpreted?
fixing the
I wanna see
bad
the
parts.
motorbike.
Mm.
The motorbike. I want to see what they're going to do with it because I feel like the whole sort of island exploration could be streamlined and utilize the motorbike and just because the whole thing about Veronica in terms of quality of life is a lot of people don't like the backtracking, right? Because
Yeah,
sometimes the
I've heard
backtracking
that.
just can get too much. So I think that they could, if they want to introduce a cool new mechanic to sort of make it easier between the 2 larger sections or 3 larger sections, then they can do with with that. So I'm interested to see what they do there. Really.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that they could do. In the trailer itself that they released, obviously it was nothing that we've seen in
No.
Resident Evil Code Veronica before. It's a brand new thing. So obviously this is kind of leading up to what happened in the intro of the original
How-
game because we didn't see
however-
any of that.
Yeah. However, I don't know if I've read this wrong, but I feel like I read recently that they said that that's not going to be in the game. But maybe
Oh.
maybe
Hmm.
that it was part of just the build up for it. It'd
Just
be
kind of a
interesting if that's
teaser
the
kind of
case.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it could be completely. Yeah, maybe I
wonder
have.
if they'll
Which
do,
is
like,
fine.
updated story sections or maybe they'll tie it further into Requiem or something because it's also an important lore
Yeah.
game from my understanding.
They've been doing a lot of good
Yeah,
like
it is very much.
retconning with the remakes as well.
Retconning, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's definitely some stuff that they need to improve on. Like they need to, if they can remove or at least make better the metal detector puzzles,
Mm.
that would be great because those were frustrating as hell. Also, they really need to improve Steve.
Yeah, Steve,
Yeah.
number one, Steve. I want them to change Steve entirely to the point where I actually like him as a character but
Yeah.
I don't want
Mhm.
them to change Alfred at all.
No,
Mhm.
that's true. Yeah.
I'm
To be honest,
I'm trying to
they could
think.
improve Steve by just giving him a better voice
True.
more than
Making it
anything
less
because he was very
whiny.
whiny.
So
I'm
whiny.
trying to think of what was the consensus for Carlos in Resident Evil 3 remake. I can't remember if people thought that was
think
I
the
really
like
like
a good.
Carlos.
A lot of people liked him.
I
I like
as well,
Carlos
Yeah,
quite a lot. I thought he was
because I
great.
can't really remember Carlos that much from the original. Like I
He
can't
just
remember.
reminds me a lot of Miguel from Tekken, who I also really like.
He had a much more like
Yeah.
stereotypical, like I'm Hispanic voice kind of thing going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did like him. I was also like they brought him into the Resident Evil films when they started bringing game characters in. I was like, yes, they've
Yeah.
got Carlos in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Side
interesting. But
note,
yeah,
a
it's going to be
character. Oh, sorry.
no.
I was just
Go
going to
for
say,
it.
side note, just because we're talking about characters we like, I would love to see Billy Cohen from Resident Evil 0 come
Mm.
back. That's just
Well,
one
there's
of
the
my.
talk of the 1 and 0 remakes at some point. I mean,
Yeah.
there's talk of every remake, but apparently that's
Well,
quite like
I
a loud chatter.
I think they should combine them. I've said this
Ooh.
quite loudly a few times. I think they
Mhm.
should combine those two, and because at the moment we are seeing sort of. I mean, I did think Veronica they might end up being combined, first and third person sort of Grace and Leon sections, Chris and Claire section.
Mhm.
Maybe they would do that with Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 0, where they combine those two games and just take out the best bits of 0 and kind of say, okay,
Sure.
this is what Rebecca's doing at this particular time in the beginning as like a prologue, and then sort of cut away from Resident Evil 1 to go and focus on Rebecca for a little bit.
The
Yeah, I
worry
don't
is
know.
with 0 is that it would become a 3 remake where they'd cut too much and it would become more of a side story and not a fully fleshed out game if they did it. So kind of combining 1 and 0 together, I guess, would make more sense because 3 technically feels like DLC for 2 in the remake. So
Yeah, because I think not enough people love 0 the way that they love 3, I guess. So you get
yeah,
maybe that would be their justification for being up for doing that. Yeah.
Very cool.
awesome. Right. Well, let's move on. We were going to touch briefly on one of Mike's, but maybe we'll save that for another day if that's okay, Mike. Because we do need to.
Yeah, and I enjoyed talking about Veronica.
move on.
I'm done. I'm good.
Good. Okay, so we're going to do something now, which is our chapter 4, which I call the Fear Council, and this is a bit of a debate where we're going to have a topic, and we're going to have somebody who's for this topic and somebody who's against this topic, and essentially at the end, one of them is going to come out as the victor, and Dan will decide who is the victor. So they've really got to play to Dan here. So I feel like Alex has a bit of an advantage considering he knows Dan
I've
probably
already
better
had
than
this
Mike
debate
does,
with
but
friends.
fair. So we'll see how this goes. So we're gonna try and keep it nice and snappy.
Do you have a
I'm
hard
gonna give
timer
you a
for
minute
the
each.
a
I'm
minute
gonna
each?
do
Cool,
hard
cool. Sorry.
timers.
Yep,
So
you got it.
a minute for I'm gonna do a minute for intros. So you're gonna introduce kind of your position and then what you think. And then I'm gonna kind of give you then a minute to kind of expand on that, and then you can kind of go back and forth with each other. But you'll have a minute to talk each time, and I will cut you off. I'll throw in some questions every now and again, and then at the end we'll have a final minute just to kind of conclude, and then Dan will make his ultimate decision as to which is the correct opinion, I suppose. I'm sure everybody else will have their own opinions on what the correct opinion is, but that's the point of this. If you come and join us for one of these in the future, please do join in. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're just watching this in the comments, let us know what your opinion on this is. I should probably tell you what we're talking about. And the debate for this episode, for episode 1, is this. And it's not a question, it is a statement. It's not my opinion, just so we know where I stand on this. But the statement is the PS1 aesthetic in horror gaming is overdone. And for the pro, so for that particular statement is Alex, and against that statement is Mike.
Oh, I
So
the other way
misunderstood this.
around?
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
the other way
The
around.
other way
I thought.
around?
I am in
Yeah,
favor of PS1 graphics.
Yeah, so I'll go.
Yes.
I'm
I
against.
see.
Yeah, I'll go against PS1 graphics.
Okay. So opposite way around. I think I've got it now. I think I've got it in my head. So I'm going to give you a minute each to kind of give your opening statement, as it were. Let me
Yeah.
just bring up my handy dandy iPhone clock. Because why use anything else when it's right there in front of you?
So I guess
So I'm going to
because
start
the
a minute
questions
timer.
is if they're overdone, do you want Mike to start first, and then I'll do the next opening statement?
Sure. Okay, we'll go with Mike first. So, Mike, are you ready?
Oh, he's thrown me under the bus there. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it's a good
Let's go.
it's a good starting position, isn't it? Okay, so Mike, your 1 minute starts now.
So obviously, PlayStation 1 trend, I'm not going to say that they are bad, but they're definitely overdone. I think the aesthetic is sort of incorporated into so many different indie games that it's also almost becoming sort of a bit of a cop-out for not doing higher poly counts on models and just sort of covering up um, sort of graphical sort of limitations from an indie developer. As an indie developer myself, completely understand, but guess what? We're missing out. We're missing out on PlayStation 2 graphics. So I'm actually using Pro PS2 graphics as my reasoning that they need more love. PlayStation 2 had gorgeous graphics. If you look at the likes of Metal Gear Solid 2, as we talked about with Code Veronica, French Kiss, the graphics of PlayStation 2 has its own style. It uses the sort of Goran shading, which is again just a step down from the Fong shading that we see now in new sparkly games. But PlayStation 2 graphics need their time in the sun.
Your time is
PlayStation
up.
1 is over.
Oh, okay. I'll allow it. That was a couple of seconds over, but you finished. Okay. Alex, your opening statement. Please begin now.
All right. So first of all, I am in favor of the emulating classical styles across the board, whether that's a N64 like, a PS1 like, a PS2 like. I just like that interpretation artistically. The biggest thing that I would say is a benefit for having PS1 graphics is, for one, the low poly count allows for a lower floor in development accessibility. It's a lot easier for people to make a PS1 like game than it is something with higher fidelity. It also captures a specific visual tone that was very specific to that time. There's a reason why certain games feel different on original hardware than they do on, say, like an emulator machine. So having the ability to at least toggle those features captures that same essence and that same tone, and I don't want to lose that creatively throughout the future of games. And then the last thing I'll say is that despite the fact that, yes, it's overdone, yes, there's a lot of examples of this, there's still a lot of opportunities for expression, both visually and mechanically, and
Time's
we've
up.
seen a lot of developers play around with that.
Very good.
That was four
Okay,
words.
cool.
4 words over. He went 4 words over.
You were
we can
like
get it down
7
to
words
mathematics,
over.
aren't we?
Are you penalized for that?
Maybe I need to come up with penalties for the future, but for now, let's move on. So okay, so we've had the for and against the kind of PS1 aesthetic. I'll come back to you, Mike. And I'm going to give you a minute. So obviously you've heard Alex's opening statement now. I'm going to give you a minute, maybe if you've got any rebuttals for some of the things that Alex had to say there.
Yeah, so I think I agree with a lot of what he's saying, but I think that the question is whether it's been overplayed, and I certainly think that it has. I think, again, to use PlayStation 2 as the counter argument, PlayStation 2 graphics, should I say, as a counter argument, that has its own style and aesthetic as well, and also touches upon many gamers' hearts, as well as PlayStation 1. It's very memorable aesthetically, as the PlayStation 1 graphics are. It's also very easy for indie developers to make a game that looks like a PS2 game as well. Typically 480p is the resolution sort of target, so very easy. Also quite low poly as well, so we're not really adding that much more polygons. It's just the aesthetic, I think, is something that could be investigated further, and there's just too many PlayStation 1 looking games where eventually it's going to be saturated, and you're not going to really know whether it was done with true heart or just to try and get an easy sort of quick buck.
Okay. But then I guess so. I mean, my question to you then would be, I mean, there are hundreds upon hundreds of actual PS1 games, many of them horror games, and we, at the time, we didn't get fed up with them then. So why should people be fed up of them now, I suppose?
Again, I think it just leans into how many of them are genuine and which ones are disingenuous in terms of just let's make it a PlayStation 1 game because we're going to be able to get it through the gate the quickest, get money into our hands the quickest, and just tap into it's a trend rather than a true sort of a love letter to a specific era. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I didn't have to do this, I wouldn't. I do love the PlayStation 1 aesthetic, so truly from the heart isn't. But I also similarly from the heart do believe PlayStation 2 deserves its day in the sun. So I think, yeah, in a way you are right that there's hundreds, if not thousands, of PlayStation 1 games that so we didn't get bored of them then. But I just think again it comes into the point of replication. I think you can get more tired of replication than you can from original material.
Okay,
Good point.
interesting. Yeah, Alex, have you got any rebuttals to any of Mike's points there?
I would be more aligned with Mike's current reasoning if this was a trend that we saw in the AAA space. Because it's an indie sort of thing, I don't think there's any reason why you should limit what people can and should do. The only thing that would like lean into Mike's argument in particular is sales. And my stance is more of the creative value and pursuing these things. Like if you're doing something that's more like a cut and paste, you just made a game that's like Resident Evil. And we play a lot of those, and some of them are very boring and they don't really do anything to play around with genre or visuals or that sort of thing. But it is a really good teaching ground. So like maybe that person's first game kind of sucks, but at least it emulates the feel perfectly. And then their next game is like, okay, now I get the foundation. Let's do something interesting. Because I don't think there's no reason why we shouldn't say we want fewer games ever. So why not just open up the door and say, hey, you want to try the PS1 aesthetic? More power to you. Here's a bunch of tools on how to do it. And there are going to be people that buy them regardless. There's lots of people who are fans of this aesthetic, pixel art, low poly, like even just low poly artwork has its own thing. I'm seeing lots of low poly like music in like construction too, where people use the limitations of certain platforms or hardware. Like there's always going to be an audience for something.
Yeah. And just I like the watch look there. I stopped doing the timer briefly because it kept making a noise. I was like, ah. But yeah, so just to kind of come back. So you've mentioned obviously there are plenty of other aesthetics that people use. We've got low poly and stuff like that. So are we saying that PS1 is its own aesthetic now, akin to that, or is it just that we are seeing it as, because you've mentioned low poly as well? So is PS1 and low poly the same thing, or because you
I
can have
think
low poly things on
poly
PS1?
exists as the like top end umbrella, and underneath low poly you have N64 style, PS1 style, Dreamcast, whatever, and its own thing. Like a lot of people use low poly to kind of like create their own looks, and I think regardless, it's just another tool in the development tool set. And I, for one, just enjoy when people try something different. Like mouthwashing is a PS1 like. We've got games winning awards now in these like art directions that are less traditional or less similar to what AAA is doing. And I think it's really important to have that variety in just a visual sense, but definitely in like a game overall perspective.
Dan, I'm going to just come to you briefly. Just is there anybody who's swaying this for you at the moment?
Yes. Because I can tell you right now, going into this topic, I thought I was going to be dead set on one thing, and I'm actually kind of leaning the other way. Because I personally absolutely adore PS1 aesthetic. It's one of my all-time favorite things, and I make the argument of how the visual style leans into horror in great ways. And I love PS2 games. I love PS1 games. I love all those little changes and differences between the two. But as we're talking about the topic, I'm starting to think about like there are so many indie like horror games now that are going with the PS1 aesthetic, which is great. But maybe it's time to put that on the shelf. Let that rest. Give it a break and let it take some time. And then maybe when we come back to it in a couple of years, it'd be like, oh, cool. Yes, a PS1 game. I've been hurting for one of these for a while. It's one of those things where it was like, it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, enough with the PS1 games. Like I'm so full of PS1 games. I need a break right now. Like give me something else. Like I've had too many. Getting heartburn. So I'm actually leaning towards like, okay, like maybe the PS1 game aesthetic is overdone. And that's how I feel. It's like, I love the aesthetic. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But maybe we do need a break from it just to give us something different.
Hmm,
Give us something fresh.
okay.
I've got a
Interesting.
rebuttal to Alex actually. If I'm allowed
Do we need
another
the
one.
rebuttal?
I don't know. I don't know if the format
Do we
is.
need to?
No,
You
it was
won.
just more.
I give it to
No,
you.
yeah, okay. But just to touch on one thing. So because same, I absolutely love the PS1 aesthetic as well, and I think what you touched on with mouth washing. So mouth washing, fantastic game. I'm just afraid that if a lot of games just do like an amnesia like and then put a PS1 filter on it, games like mouthwashing will eventually get lost because people go, oh, it's another one of these, another PS1 game, indie game, and they won't give it the time of day because there's so many, and it's just kind of like there'll be so many, and there are actually already just a lot of just like man with torch, you know, in liminal spaces with a PS1 filter. And when I think of PS1, by the way, I think the question isn't necessarily about low poly because you mentioned about N64, Dreamcast. These are low poly as well. It's that aesthetic that where the actual technical limitations with the vertex fighting, the jittering, all that kind of thing is then intentionally put onto the game. And with mouth washing, it complements the head fuck that is that game. It's perfect. But that's art where and a decision based on art. Whereas again, Man with Torch, let's just put that filter on because it's gonna tickle a nostalgic nerve. And then over time, games like that, like Heartworm, are gonna just be like, oh, it's another one of these.
Yeah. My immediate response to that line of thinking is like, you're afraid that some of these will get lost in the shuffle. We already have that problem, and the people who care are definitely not the people who's gonna like that's our job, is to connect them to these things and for them to find their audiences. Like, I don't think that PS1 style graphics should be like tossed in the bin. Like, I definitely think that there's a reason for it, but we're in an era now where developers can do so much visually, whether it's emulating an old style or coming up with their own thing or doing whatever, that use that as a tool to like enhance your game, to enhance your stories. Like you say, like if you take it at face value and said, oh, we put a PS1 feature in there because people like PS1 features, like anytime you make that level decision, it's not going to help you out in the long run, whether that's artistically, to your players, it'll feel disingenuous, and then from a marketing perspective, you run the risk of being a part of the just like shovel cavalcade that's all over every platform right now.
I'm definitely on Dan's side though with shelving it. I don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I don't want to burn it
and giving it time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I want to give it time to rest, give it a break.
Yeah.
So then,
like
I will say
come
that
back in a few years or something.
I'm in favor of having less ingenuous art directions. Like I want art directions to be a part of the thing. But there's also that accessibility angle too that I talk about, where like, okay, you know, sitting down and making something that's an NES style or a PS1 style or whatever, like that's a good place to learn. And so I think that we should still celebrate these things just like we do any other game.
100%. But Dan has spoken, and Dan has said that PS1 aesthetic is over.
I have spoken.
It's overdone.
For now.
I'm also very excited for PS2 days. Like, what a phenomenal!
Just to plug, my game is going for the PlayStation 2 aesthetic. It's it's not quite there just yet, but yeah. So just that was a little bit of a cheat thing from me as well. Yeah.
Just because I had it within close
there you go.
reach, I had to like
bam. Nice. I have the Dreamcast copy somewhere, but not in this room, unfortunately.
It's hard for me to hate most games. Like, I love all games.
And of course, the Devil May Cry.
Oh, you've got the Japanese Dreamcast version. That's very
cool. I've actually got all the versions. This is just the first one that I picked up, but yeah.
Amazing. I wanted to get the actual Code Veronica Dreamcast, like the actual.
Oh, yeah, there's like a special
it's
one.
Expensive. Right? But anyway, moving right along, we don't have much time left. We are trying to be a fairly not taking too much of your time podcast, but we do have one final thing to do, and that is our final boss, chapter 6, our final boss, which is the quiz. And this is where our kind of archetypes come back into play, because one of the archetypes will die. Actually no, two of you will die before the end of this podcast. Only one will survive. I'm sure people will be resurrected in the future, so don't worry. It's not a permanent thing. But you know, for this episode at least, you
Permadeath
will be
podcast.
absolutely dead. Yeah. If you die in the quiz, you're never
You
allowed back
just
again.
Never
eliminated
come
from the
back.
show. That's really
Winner
funny.
stays on. Winner stays on.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. But at least for this time, we're just gonna have a little bit of fun with it. So this is a quiz, and there are 4 questions. I say questions. There are 4 games that I'm gonna basically get you to guess, and you're gonna have various clues. The first clue will always be a descriptor of the genre. We know the horror games. This is a horror podcast, but it could be a survival horror. It could be a beat 'em up. It could be all sorts of different types of genre that fall in under horror. The second will be the platforms that the game was released on. The third clue will be the country the developer is based in. The fourth clue is a memorable line from the game or the marketing material. And then the final clue will be a short description of the game's premise. For each of those clues, there's points. So if you guess the game on the first clue, you'll get 5 points. And then if you guess on the 5th clue, you'll get 1 point. You each get 1 guess per clue. So please guess wisely. And we do have a tiebreaker if it does come to that. But yeah, let's try not to think too much on the clues. Let's run through this. Fire off games when you think of them, but you only get 1 per clue. So are we ready for this?
Let's go.
Do we think we're okay? Okay.
Now, is Dan playing too, or is it just me and
I'm
Mike?
playing. We're all playing.
Oh, okay.
Dan is playing too. Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely. So Dan could win. There is no prize. The prize is that you don't die.
You survive.
So you get to live another day. So game 1, and basically just shout out an answer if you have it. I'm not going to come to you individually, but once you've guessed once, you can't guess again for that clue. Clue 1. So this is the genre of the game is beat 'em up.
Nightmare creatures.
Nightmare creatures. Oh,
You said it at the same time. Do I?
Yeah, we both said it.
I'm going to take that as both of your answers just because you said it exactly the same time. So no takesies backsies. That is a no. It is not Nightmare Creatures. Dan?
Good guess.
Shadow Man?
It is not Shadow Man.
Ooh.
Good guess.
What's
Okay,
that?
clue 2. I will tell you which consoles it released for, at least initially. I'm not always going to tell you if it got remastered or anything like that. So I will tell you the original consoles it released for. In this case, it released for the arcade, the TurboGrafx 16, and the FM Towns Marty.
Oh, shit.
Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse.
Ooh.
No, it's not Slaughterhouse.
Splatterhouse. Is it Splatterhouse or Slaughterhouse?
I'm going to say Splatterhouse 2.
That's what I meant.
You're saying Splatterhouse 2?
Yeah.
Slaughterhouse.
As in the number 2?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. That's probably the first one then.
I can't believe I called it Slaughterhouse. Like, that's just really annoyed me.
I beat him up from the arcade and back. Beat him up. I'm drawing a blank.
No, you're not going to take a guess?
I can't even guess at this point.
My
Sorry.
brother in Christ. It's so simple.
Clue 3 is the country of origin, and it is Japan.
Splatterhouse.
Yeah.
Mike is correct. It is Splatterhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
I thought
correct
you were going to be
before.
a tricksy little hobbit. Yeah.
Oh, see, now that's the thing. I was like, oh, if it's not Splatterhouse, I don't know what it is. So that's why I didn't say Splatterhouse.
No, it was my fault. I
What's
said
that other?
Slaughterhouse.
Is it like Night Warriors or something? That other like beat 'em up that's a horror thing.
Okay. So I want to just
think.
I want to
I don't
explain
know.
that. Like, I was completely confused because if it wasn't Splatterhouse, I had no idea what it was, and I didn't realize
okay.
Mike didn't get it because he didn't say it quite right.
He said Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
And I said Splatterhouse too.
Gotcha.
I said Slaughterhouse, Splatterhouse,
Gotcha.
and
Well,
then
I
didn't
took your
commit,
first
so,
answer.
Yeah,
Yep.
I get it.
No.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's all right. Okay.
There you go. So Mike has
me,
3
but I can't
points so
figure
far.
out
the rules.
3 points to Mike. Okay, ready for game 2?
Night something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clue 1. Point and click adventure.
Oh crap! I don't know any of these.
Stasis.
We want to take a guess?
I'm just gonna say
I'll
Clock
have it.
Tower.
I'm gonna do.
Clock Tower? No.
I'm gonna say I have no mouth and I must scream.
That's a good guess, but no, it's not.
Okay.
I said Stasis.
I know what it is.
Stasis.
I think.
No. It's not. Clue 2, the platform that it released on, Windows.
Alone in the Dark.
No.
Phasmagoria?
No, also a good
Or like
guess, but
Sierra
no.
game? Okay, damn.
Ah.
I
think
can't
know.
remember the name of the game that I'm thinking of. Oh,
What is the name of that fucking beat 'em up?
Windows.
You
So I'm
can pass
assuming
if you want to hear another clue.
I'm trying to remember the name of the point and click horror games, and I'm just drawing a blank on them.
You can't Google,
Okay.
Alex.
I was looking for the last thing. Night Slashers
Okay.
was the game I was trying to think of.
Nice.
Also a
yeah.
horror
yeah.
themed
Do
beat
you
'em
want
up.
to
And
pass
Friday
down?
the 13th, it could have been as well.
I guess, yeah.
Are you passing, or are you going to
I'll have
a
to
guess at
pass
one
just because
down?
I'm taking too long. So
I'm just going to
That's fine.
shout what I think it is straight away in this second.
Okay,
Before
clue.
during the second clue. Yeah, go on.
This is the third clue.
Hmm.
So third clue is the country of origin, and it's USA.
Riven.
Riven? No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a point and click on Windows and it's USA. Oh, crap.
I can see a bunch of these games in my head, but I can't come up with names.
Oh, it's
for
the
any of
one
them.
with the it's an FMV with the babysitters. What's the fucking name of that one?
Oh,
I
I
know
know
what you're
Night
thinking of.
Trap.
That one.
Is that going to be right? Who's
That's my
guessing
guess.
Night Trap
My
there?
guess is Night Trap. Unless
was
it's
gonna say,
right,
I
then
said
it's
it.
Dan.
Wait, Dan said it. Dan said it. Can I have
mean,
that?
If it's right, Dan gets the point. But that's
it's not
what I
correct.
think.
It is not. It is not
Oh,
Night
it's
Trap.
because Night Trap famously was on Sega CD and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were.
Shall I move on
yeah.
to the next
It was on
clue?
PS1, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna think of the
Okay.
names of
I'm
these.
going to move on to the next clue.
So
The next
terrible at
clue
this genre.
is this is from, I think it's from the box of the game. Bearing in mind it's Windows, it was a big box game. Is this a nightmare? Am I insane? Is this reality? Maybe this is death.
I think I
Is it Alone in the Dark too?
No, it's not.
I think I know what it is, but I do not know the name of the game. I'm not gonna be able to guess it, but I think I know what it is.
Okay.
Fuck.
Alex, any guess?
I don't have a guess, but I think I know what it is.
Sorting through memories of watching Metal Jesus Rocks basically right now.
I'll give you a few more
I got
seconds.
nothing, man.
This is a blank
Yeah.
spot for
No.
me in classic point and
I'm
click
so
games. So
Okay.
ignorant when it comes to point and clicks overall. I don't like the genre that much.
I'm gonna start doing more homework for
Okay.
these things.
Yeah. Well, you've got one more
Forgot we were
clue.
doing quiz.
Maybe this will get it for you. So clue 5 is just a short description of the game. An amnesiac navigates surreal psychological horrors inside a twisted asylum.
Again, I still think I know what it is, but
And
I'm
it's a
not gonna
point
know.
and
I don't
click.
know the name. I'm not gonna guess the name.
Maniac Mansion?
It is not Maniac Mansion. No.
Okay. Damn.
Are we all guessed out at this
I'm
point?
doomed to die
Any
in this
more?
one.
Is Sanitarium a name of a game? Is that a
Sanitarium
thing,
is
or
a
am I,
game.
okay.
You've already had
Yeah.
your guess, Alex. So
Yeah, I know, but Dan, guess
unfortunately,
Sanitarium.
Sanitarium.
that's your guess,
Sure.
Dan? It is Sanitarium.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Wow. Nice.
I was like, God, that title, I feel like that exists.
I was gonna say
I-
that's
It does.
because I was thinking about the games that we've looked at with GOG, and I know
Uh-huh.
Sanitarium's one of them, and I remember
It is
reading
one
about
of
that
them,
game,
yep.
and it sounded just like
Yep.
that. Like I said, I'm like, I know it's this game, but I don't
Yep.
remember
Yeah.
the name of it.
Nice.
I
Freebie
wouldn't
for
have
me.
guessed. I wouldn't have got that. I heard of the game.
So that's
but, yeah, it
1
was not in
point,
my.
right?
That's
Sweet.
1 point, Dan. Yeah. So 1 point to Dan, 3 points to Mike still. There are 2 questions to go.
Uh-oh.
So technically it's anybody's game. All right, moving on. Third game is a survival horror.
Ooh.
So this is
Oh.
a kind of a broad one to start with, unfortunately.
Extermination.
No.
I'm thinking that you maybe have gone for something more new. I'm going to say The Medium.
No.
Dead Space.
I
No.
would call it the medium
Okay.
or psychological horror.
What, The
Yeah.
Medium?
Yeah.
Well, we're
Yeah.
kind of splitting
Yeah,
hairs when it comes to that one.
Yeah, that's a whole. That's another podcast. Isn't
Anyways,
it? Like,
moving on.
where's the line?
What is
Where's the
survival
line?
horror?
What is the
Yep.
site? Yeah. Clue 2 is a platform it released on. Only one. PS2.
Extermination
crap.
was not a bad guess.
Yeah, PlayStation 2 release game, wasn't it? The first
Oh,
survival horror
shit.
game on PlayStation 2.
Ghost Hunter.
Ghost Hunter? No.
Resident Evil Outbreak.
Obscure?
No, not Outbreak. And did you guess Obscure, Alex?
Yeah.
No, it's not Obscure.
Damn. Okay.
The next one might help focus a bit more. Clue 3, country of origin is Japan.
That did not help. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely not obscure.
Siren?
Siren? No, it's not Siren. Good guess.
Fatal Frame.
It is not Fatal Frame.
Is that a survival horror? Okay, no, let's not go there. Okay, oh, country. So survival horror, Japan, PlayStation 2. Oh, I think
Give you a couple more
is it
seconds.
Code Veronica?
It's not Code Veronica.
We
No.
said it
Okay.
only came out on the PS2.
I wouldn't be that obvious.
The only PS2. Sorry, I thought you said okay.
It is only on
I'm thinking
PS2.
it's that
never
boat
on
one,
PS3.
but I can't remember the name of the
Okay.
boat one. Where you're on the boat.
All right, clue 4. Maybe this will help. This is from the marketing material. An experience like no other. This timeless Japanese horror story creeps into your soul.
Oh, the really rare one, Kuon.
Ooh.
It is Kuon.
Oh,
That is
nice.
correct.
Nice.
Like
Oh,
my
because he
brain was
said-
just starting to go there too.
Yeah, it's when he said like the folklore, right? Or he
Mhm.
didn't even say that, so my brain was going anyway. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, the clue 5 would have been a creepy atmospheric horror game set in Heian period Japan.
Yeah, that would
but
have
yeah, there you
sealed it
go.
for everyone, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I was
Possibly,
thinking
yeah.
of the thing that was like
that
the
FromSoft made Kuon?
Grudge.
It
Yeah,
was
it
from
is.
software,
But
yeah.
this is a different thing. I've not played
And I
this.
say it's rare because I'm a collector of survival
Mhm.
horror games, and I do not own
Yeah.
this one because it's so damn expensive.
Oh yeah,
It's so
Well, that's
expensive.
going on my list of things to download on an emulator.
I've
Mhm.
played it.
There you go.
I have
We
to
have-
admit, and you know what? I couldn't have cheated either because I would like to have looked at my collection of survival horror games that I just.
I
Don't
was
have
literally
it.
looking at my wall over there like,
I was like, yeah. What?
You have to squint to see mine.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got one more game left. Mike does have 5 points, so unless somebody can get 5 points, Mike has essentially won, and that does
I
mean
will-
that Dan and
But-
Alex.
Shall I? Can I make it interesting? Can I just double the points? So if someone
Oh.
gets 3, they can get 6. Like double the points for this round.
Ooh.
I mean, you're
Fire off.
winning, so I will honor that.
Yeah, because if no one gets it first go, if no one gets it first go, I win by default, and I'd rather just make it interesting. Let's make it interesting.
Sure,
So
sure.
All right.
double enough.
We're
Double
making
points for the
interesting.
rest of us.
First clue: folk horror.
Siren.
No. Folk horror. Bramble?
Solot?
Bramble, the Mountain King, or whatever.
No.
Damn.
Dan, what was yours?
Like Zolot or Exolot?
No.
Oh, how do you spell that? Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Am I allowed to ask? Well, are these games that are out? Right? They're not games coming out. They're all out.
So they're all games that are already released.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're already released.
Yeah.
Kolot is what
Um,
you're looking for.
hmm.
Kholat.
What was that other folk
No,
horror?
it's-
I played a folk horror game
not that.
recently that was pretty trippy.
So I
Anyways.
do clue 2.
Mhm.
This one's come out quite a lot. So PS4, PS5, Windows, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and the Nintendo Switch.
Darkwood?
Yeah.
No.
So I
Oh.
would. Oh, okay.
Indica?
Good guess. No, it's not Indica.
I can't. I'm struggling.
Mhm.
No. Do you want me to go to the
It's
next
recent
clue?
and wide release, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh wait, unless made of Skur is that class as folk
Ooh.
horror?
I guess it could be, but it's not
Yeah,
that.
it's more adjacent. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. I would say it's more adjacent anyway. Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the last clue that anybody could win on, apart from Mike. So the country that it was developed in was Switzerland.
Uh-oh.
that's
That
actually
rings a
not
bell,
far
but I'm
off
not-
from Zolot. That's like I think that's a
Folk
Swiss
and
developer.
Swiss.
Mm.
I think they're the same developer that made the
That's
game I was
tough.
thinking about.
That's the only game that I can think of from
Mm.
Switzerland.
Nobody got any ideas? Do you want me to move on to the next clue?
Yeah,
What's
we tried to make it
what's the
interesting.
name?
Atomic Heart.
We did try. You did
That's
try.
a Russian game.
Huh?
Oh, that's
I said
Russian, yeah.
Atomic Heart, but that's Russian.
Yeah, that's Russian.
Well,
Damn.
fuck. And I'm gonna be
Dan?
so mad if this is a game I've played and I might because I'm thinking it's like the same developer of that other game. Shit,
Okay.
I'm not gonna be able to come up with it.
this next clue, which will only get you 4 points if you get it right now. Well, to be fair, if Dan gets this, Dan could tie with Mike if Dan gets it at this clue. So then it would just be Alex who dies. Well, we'd have a tiebreaker, actually, but we don't have to have a tiebreaker. Anyway,
No.
I'll stop. The clue 4 is from the marketing material, and it is a hand-penciled horror tale.
Oh my god! It's called Mordorn, not Mar. Oh, I've butchered another name. I've seen this. It's like Mordorn or something like that. But go on. Yeah.
Does anybody else? Does anybody else have a name in mind? I think I have to give it to Mike because Mike is very close.
Oh, go on.
Moondawn.
Moondawn.
Nice.
Mundaun. Moondawn.
Mun. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been my guess anyways.
Obscure pick. Good pick.
That was
very, very close.
Yeah, that's been on my that's like in my backlog. I did.
It's $6 right now.
Is that Switzerland then?
Wow.
Yeah, the developer's from Switzerland. I think it's based in Switzerland. So it's a grandfather's mysterious death sparks a dark alpine horror story. So there you go.
Ew.
Yeah, I think the name of it isn't a Swiss word. I think it's like a Hungarian word or something. But Mundaun. But anyway, there you go.
What did I call it? Mordorn.
Mordorn. I mean, it looks like Mordorn to be fair, but it's there you go.
But it's the hand drawn. That's what.
It's hand penciled. It's like
really cool.
How do you spell it again?
Mundaun.
Yeah, there we go.
But Mike,
really
you have survived. You've lived through the podcast. Unfortunately, though,
I think we covered this game.
Alex and Dan, you are dead.
I got shredded.
Super dead. I got 1 whole point by default.
You did. So you kind of made out. Well, you didn't make out, but you almost made out by the skin of your teeth with your 1 point. Not quite, but yeah. Alex got eviscerated. Unfortunately.
You got some good picks today.
Really
good picks.
Always.
I'm usually pretty good at this game.
Yeah.
I can't believe I said Slaughterhouse, and that's going to be on the internet forever.
It will be. But the tragic obsessive won the day in the end, so it's all good.
Then I said Moondawn, so I've butchered 2 games names today, so that's fine.
You have, but I gave you the last one. Slaughterhouse, I just could not give you.
I really wish I got Extermination on the first guess because that would have been a perfect other PS2 horror game that was only on the PS2.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We've finished. We've come to the end. We have lost 2 of you. I mean, you're still there. I'm just going to assume you're ghosts.
We'll respawn next time.
You will respawn next time. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. You've got nice Extermination.
Get one of those like paper hat things that you see in Japan.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. If you are here because of our Patreon, thank you so much for supporting us over on Patreon. If you are not here because of Patreon, please do go check us out, which I think is patreon.com/FEARZINE, I believe. And you can find us everywhere. Dan, remind me of the website name because I'm just going to say FEARZINE.com, and I don't think that's right.
It's FEARZINEmagazine.com.
FEARZINEmagazine.com. Everything we do is there, so you can find links to everything from that link. So please do check us out. Check out the magazine. Check out our Discord, our socials, and of course our Patreon. Thank you so much for being here with us. Obviously, Dan and Alex work on the magazine. Alex, you also work on your own site. Can you tell us a little bit about that before we go?
So Forever Classic Games has been around for the past like 6 or 7 years. We've been doing a lot of game reviews. Things have slowed down in the past year or so as I try to like not only get that project into a physical form at some point as well, which is how me and Dan started working together, but also because like a lot of managers got into FEARZINE and then work things got weird. So like we're in the like background foundational building stage of revamping a lot of things. Like we've got some new artwork that we're going to use for some merchandise that's actually moved forward recently. We're going to try to do some physical prints, and then hopefully you'll just see more in general over on Forever Classic Games. I really want to like reconnect with this new wave of indie games media, and not only like get ourselves within that space, but also celebrate that space as a whole. So there's a lot of cool things being worked on in the background.
Amazing. That's foreverclassicgames.com. Is that right?
Yes.
Amazing. And Mike, tell us a little bit about what you do as well, where people can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on EXGuiden on Twitter, but I also, for the most part, run Project Gaiden also on Twitter, Project_Gaiden on Twitter. And that's my studio, my indie game studio that's now getting a little bit bigger with other creatives. So I've just gotten a new sort of 3D artist that's working with me. So I'm no longer a solo developer.
Nice.
We're pretty much just 2 developers now, but we're getting more and more voice actors on board from the game that we're making, Descendants of Night. It was formerly known as Descendant a while ago, but we changed that sort of last year and announced that Descendant of Night. The reason why we changed it is because there was a movie coming out called Descendant, and it was very confusing. But yeah, that's a game that's a survival horror game that's, as I mentioned before, trying to sort of like hark back to games such as Code Veronica on the PlayStation 2. Try to get into that PlayStation 2 era, try and inspire that same sort of feeling as those games. And yeah, you can check that out on Steam. I'm working towards a demo and a vertical slice. Yeah.
Really looking forward to it. Really cool screenshots.
Yeah, and stay tuned for a new trailer as well in Halloween.
Exciting. Well, there we go. Yeah, thank you again so much for joining us. Keep an eye out for more news on the magazine. Do have issue 5 coming very, very soon. More news to come. And also keep an ear out for the next episode of this. And feel free to leave us feedback, what you've enjoyed, anything you think we can change or do better. We're open to criticism because this is the first time we're doing this, technically. We're always happy to
if you want to
make changes. But yes.
Just real quick, I can shout out if you're watching this on YouTube, check us out on Patreon and you follow the channel for free for updates. If you want to keep up with everything that's happening with the magazine, with the podcast, we got more stuff in the shoot. We got more stuff in the work
in the chamber.
Along. The chamber.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff to come right now, and we're working on more goodies and bonuses and incentives for people who sign up and become paid members of the Patreon.
Yeah.
But you can be a free member to keep up with everything that's going on, hear about what's going on with the magazine, and get updates.
A lot of the letters from Dan are all free to access.
I try to post at least once a week to let everyone know what's going on. But we want to expand
here and there.
So yeah, that's my bit.
Yeah. And we'll be doing this once a month, hopefully, and you'll be able to kind of watch us live on Patreon. So if you're a member, so there you go. Yeah. Thank you again for joining us. I hope you had a great time. I think we had a great time. I enjoyed our Code Veronica chats. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.